So beyond the education system, please, if you can, just travel. Like
Mm,
travel,
just for-
even
Just for
for
the
that
exposure.
exposure,
Yes.
like the experiences, it just gives you a different perspective to life. It opens up your mind. It helps you see things in, the experiences are valuable.
Yeah.
So beyond getting an MBA from a UK university, the general experiences, the people I met, the conversations I had, the things I saw, they've all shaped me and are still shaping me, to who I am today. So to the Nigerian youth, and trust me, if you can, whether it's Benin Republic, just travel.
Yeah.
Try to see like all these other places.
Yeah. Hello, friends. Welcome to Japa Chronicles, the number one podcast in Nigeria.
I like that.
Sino, what's wrong? What's going on today?
You're
going through a lot of things.
And the clothes that are now weird. Sorry, I don't know who sent me work,
but I like it. We're twinning today. We need to.
I didn't get the memo.
Sorry.
No,
Sorry, dear.
It's fine.
Sorry. We sent it actually. Probably bounced back.
Probably did. Next time.
Today's going to be a fun episode. This is a special edition. So, what's going on? Yeah, you seem like you have a lot of challenge. And you're not man you. You're not man you that has plenty challenges. What's going
maybe
on?
that is why you. Maybe that's why I have challenges.
What's going on?
I'm hungry.
Sorry. It do happen.
I'm hungry.
It do happen.
And
fasting is good.
No, it's different if you plan the fast.
No,
this
not.
one is hunger strike. It's not planning. It's not fasting, please. It's not fasting.
Today is a special episode. We have another guest
With us.
A
fellow superstar.
God.
Voila.
This is why our combo is bad. I don't miss Isaac at all. You don't vex me today. I don't miss Isaac.
But why did you take it out? I wanted to be the one to say it so that it will pay Isaac more. You know, if it's you, it's not.
Go ahead, friend.
Isaac, I just wanted to say that in case the last time that you were not around, they said that it was the best podcast that they have had. So today
I feel
again,
bad for Isaac. Whoever
it's being said that they did not miss you. So
Wow.
it's not me. It's your humble,
What? Because he called me co-host. Your humble co-host. Isaac is rude. It's rude. I know. I agree with you now.
That's why they were beating him in that video.
Yeah.
Oh God! But that's by the way. Please,
Let's introduce ourselves.
yes.
Without further ado, I'm King of Japa. That's simple. There's no need. I'm not talking. I'm enjoying it now. And we have here Dr. Babe.
Yo.
I don't even want you to be saying
What's up?
Sinom again. Dr.
Yes,
and we
let's
need to
say
open. We actually need to open an Instagram account for you,
She
Dr. Babe.
relationship expert.
Yes, relationship and communication expert.
Gender.
Activist.
Yes.
PhD in view.
No, I've already collected the certificate too. It's
Oh,
just all of this is just formality because with the ones that I've do, I've
It's
collected the
enough.
certificate.
All the presentation, sleepless nights.
They have been playing my emotions.
Sorry, dear.
That's
Who
by
who
the
is there?
How you
my
know?
lecturer.
Are you doing a PhD?
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's why she's Dr. Babe. Don't worry, you catch up.
Fantastic.
At least prove that you've not been watching my podcast, but don't let me drag you here. We have a special guest today. In fact, biggest guest. There are some guests that when you bring, guests that you know that if you play your cards well, you go see food and dollars.
Wow.
See, no, are you see that? Are you seeing how the Holy Spirit is connecting? You see how the Bluetooth is going through? Yes.
It's very timely.
People should rename this podcast just rename it to the whining show.
The whining dough.
Exactly.
But we don't used to lie, yeah. We don't used to
We
lie.
don't tell lies.
It's okay.
Could you please introduce yourself, my dear sister?
My name is
So that they know what we are talking.
Yes.
That's who I am.
I don't see
Just Kelechi.
with your footers.
Don't off your
be
pettiness before the camera. We know you are
don't be
naturally
humble.
exuberant, petty, outgoing, life of the party.
Not really though. My name is Kelechi,
Okay.
and
Give us your background. I'm single. I'm married. I work here.
single,
You tell us things that brothers need to know. In this podcast, we'll soon segue into relationships, so you never can tell.
Probably.
Abioke, are you feeling me?
who knows?
Yes,
Maybe
I
God is
am.
going to use you people.
My sister.
But my name is Kelechi. I work with Cafeone. If you don't know who Cafeone is, we're the number one coffee shop, co-working
You
space,
see,
and digital banking hub in Nigeria.
Yeah.
I'm single. I'm not the life of the party, but I'm never
Fun to be
ever
with.
boring.
Yes.
Yes, fun to be with. Yes. I like to think of myself as a lifelong learner, and I really, really genuinely care about people.
Yeah,
So I think
I
those
know.
are the most interesting things about me.
No, that's actually why I like Kelechi. It's not easy to see somebody that like you. And I like that.
Thank you.
Kelechi is doing
So
great
she have
for...
answered the first date question.
Nice. No.
We do need to start a relationship pod.
So when on the first day you are going
We'll
to
just cut it out.
finish.
We'll cut it out, okay, and we tag her.
We should open a website.
We'll do get her.
A dating website.
Yes, we'll do get her. Yes, we'll do get her. A Christian one though.
Yeah, before
A
we don't do
Christian one.
anything short of.
If you're not,
Please,
if
we
your
don't- we
focus
don't-
is not Jesus,
We don't encourage
and
bad thing.
don't.
We don't encourage bad
Yes,
thing.
we don't.
But thank you for having
All
me.
right. So tell us about your journey from Nigeria to the UK. You're doing well with Cafeone. We'll get to that now. But
Okay.
let's. This is Japa Chronicles. So
Okay.
Yes, all we do is
we
Japa,
talk
Japa.
about the
Japa,
nitty gritties of Japa. So
Okay.
tell us about that.
I think my story is it's a common story. 2018, I loved my job. I always loved the jobs that I've done. I loved what I was doing, but something about Nigeria was not just balancing.
Sorry,
The stars was-
that hits
It was
different.
not
Continue.
balancing. And so I started exploring the idea of leaving Nigeria. But it didn't really, I'll be honest, it didn't really start as, I want to Japa. It started as, I wanted to shift my career. And in order to do that, I decided I was going to do an MBA. And so when the conversation about doing an MBA started, I then knew I don't want to do Nigeria. I want to leave Nigeria. And so it was in June 2018, I decided to, let's start exploring the idea of leaving.
It's the month and yet where I graduate from
Oh,
undergrad. Wow. You see,
So I started, researching and trying to find out, the best schools to go to. And I did not really have money. So I knew that whatever school I was going to go to, or wherever I was going to go to, I needed like some kind of assistance.
Yeah.
So maybe like scholarships or stuff like that. So
Yeah.
so fast forward to September 2019, I departed the shores of Nigeria. I went to the University of Essex Business School to do an MBA on a part scholarship from the school.
Okay.
So that's it really.
Yeah.
And if you're wondering what I'm doing back in Nigeria, the Lord called me back home.
Wow, we'll get there. I like that.
She answered it before we
before we ask. But
Just saying, 'cause-
just to add that for our listeners, Essex is one of our listed partner schools for the UK. It's good to always be
It's a great school.
Yes, I will talk about that.
The pronunciation of that place always makes me laugh.
Yeah.
Every time, I don't know
It
why.
reminds me of cricket because I love cricket.
It's just always funny.
Did you ever go to any cricket games? Did you notice cricket at all?
No, I didn't.
was
But
there
they're
to
big on
study.
it.
Yeah, they're big.
but
They're big
I
on
was
cricket.
focused.
Yeah. I want to just ask before, because the question is, what motivated you to pursue your education in the UK? Were there specific factors that influenced your decision?
Yes.
And I will not lie.
Yeah.
This is a common question. The way I want to ask it on the pod is, was it relationship heartbreak that sent you away? Because I've realized that most of my guests... you've answered the question.
You don't
You've
drag
answered the
her.
question. Sorry. What you experienced?
You're actually putting me. If you asked me this question outside of this setting, maybe I would have given you the.
You've answered us.
The true answer.
No, you've answered us.
But
You've answered us. Sister Ivana, you can now go back to your... You can go back to your regularly scheduled response.
But yes. So
Men and women, Sha, because we've seen men cry on this pod. So,
Really?
so
I hope there are no tears in my future.
Sinom, he slept. Sinom.
I know it didn't sleep. The Lord used you.
Okay.
It's
yeah,
a very much. It's Isaac. The same
Ah,
Isaac.
cool.
He
You
wept.
You were.
He wept.
We're petty, right?
You know,
You
Jesus
don't,
wept.
sister. If you don't know what Isaac do, you can't understand.
You know when they say Jesus wept,
my brother
that's
wept.
what.
Please don't make me weep, I beg.
All right, so okay, so you were served breakfast, but aside from the breakfast,
It wasn't breakfast. It wasn't breakfast.
what was it?
Hold on.
Situationship.
How are you sure she was one that got served? What if she's one that served?
The Savi.
It's
The
actually
Savi.
the other way
You sh-
around. It wasn't breakfast.
Wow.
Let's
Wow.
leave it at that.
No.
Just in case my parents mistakenly see this podcast.
Wow. Interesting.
Career advancement.
Oh, but where were you working though?
I was working at Union Bank.
Oh, great. So banking.
Yeah.
So
That's nice.
why the UK? Is it largely was it just cost control, or because, like me, I feel like the UK has a lot of affordable schools and a lot of opportunities, the diversity of minds. What was it for
or
you,
was
really?
it the
Ease of going, the ease of Japa.
To be honest, there were so many reasons. The first reason was there were people that I wanted to go and meet in the UK, right? So let's start there.
Sorry, Auntie.
There are people.
I have to come back to that matter of breakfast. Sister,
people,
now that we have realized that you served the breakfast, could it be that there was somebody you were actually entering Boeing 767 to go and meet?
No.
She can't be that kind of person.
People that I was going to meet.
Sister Kelechi, please answer the question.
But so I had actually applied for the Shivning scholarship. Okay. So I was looking for a full ride. Like I didn't want to have to. Easy. Yeah, and so Shivning is strictly for UK schools. And to be honest, I talked to other people who had either traveled, and it just seemed like the easiest way to go. I didn't want to stress myself too much. It seemed like the easiest country. And then I know that people had expressed concerns about like the path to citizenship and the path to not coming back to Nigeria and all of that. But I wasn't really too concerned about that. For me, it was okay. I wanted to do an MBA. What's the fastest way to go do an MBA and the cheapest as well? So comparing like UK schools, so Shivning was going to cover up to £18,000.
Yeah.
And most schools in the US to do an MBA, you'll be seeing like $50-something thousand.
Let's rephrase. Good schools. 50 to 80
and above,
to 90
and 200. And I'm like, where am I supposed to find that kind of money?
Yeah.
But UK schools on the average, like okay schools like Essex, which I went to, it was about 20K.
Yeah.
So I remember when I applied to Essex, I'm like, even if Shivning gives me, because I was too sure I was going to get a Shivning scholarship, I didn't get it. But if Shivning gave me 18K, then I was going to be able to cover the remaining 2K myself. So yeah, that was it. So I picked the UK because it was the most reasonable path at the time.
£2,000 in 2018, 2019.
Please, let's not do this. Let's not do this.
It do come automatically.
Let's not do this. If you give person breakfast.
So now that we know that, will you please answer the question? Who were you going to see?
No, I have family and friends.
I like her she.
Family and friends.
I'm scared of you now. I'm really.
I'm still very. Wow. When I walked in here, he said, "Oh, that I look very innocent and peaceful and calm," and that's it. That's what I am.
So wait, we'll still go back to the who serve home breakfast full story.
There was no breakfast.
But then, so when you moved, because there's a thing of culture shock with a lot of people that travel. So was there any for you, and how big of a culture like? The way, let's give the example of in Nigeria workspace, you must dobale to greet. So, was there anything like that for you?
This is to anybody who is planning to travel. I'm an advocate for, be prepared, but I will tell you free of charge. There's no amount of preparation that you can prepare that will prepare you for what you meet. You might have that, because I did like research. I had a plan. Like I remember my dad looking at me and saying, this girl, like, why do you want to go? And I told him, I said, don't worry, I've got this under control. I didn't have anything under control. I got there, first of all, it was the weather, and then just the general way of life. Something I would mention here, which is something I try to tell everyone who speaks to me about wanting to travel to the UK, is this. Unfortunately, as Nigerians, we've been through a lot. We've suffered, and we carry that trauma with us to the UK. So we're always like scared to ask questions, scared to ask for help, all those kind of things. I had to unlearn all of those things because I came to realize that from the lecturers in my school to the people in the admissions office, from when I was even still in Nigeria till I traveled, they were always willing to help. So like one time I signed a contract for accommodation for a year. I'm not sure that I read the fine line, so I just needed to get accommodation while I was still in Nigeria. So I decided only for me to get there and realize that the contract I signed is you can't break out of it. And I thought I was a Nigerian thing where you don't enter, you cannot go. But these guys were actually willing to listen and offer advice, even telling me how to break out of the contract that was not going to favor them. So it was a lot of unlearning. Like, people, they genuinely want to do their jobs.
Leave your trauma. Leave your trauma bag.
Meaning there are no village people in the UK.
Don't carry the trauma bag out of the car when you are entering in that Muritara or any of those
airports. Some people still have coconut head. They will still have coconut head.
They were genuinely willing to help, and even though there's a lot of full niceness, like, so how are you,
but it's not really. And that will probably be the pushback, because even here, when people are genuinely nice to you, it doesn't change the fact that they can still serve you that breakfast.
Why are you going back? Why are you
no,
going
it
back?
that just came out.
Right.
No, because again, as an employer of labor, I can be nice to you and still see the need for me to let you go.
Yes.
And so would that now mean I'm not a nice person?
Not really, no.
But I think what you're basically saying, I'm just trying to explain that the culture or the trauma that we are used to, and this probably gives credence to maybe just lack of a working system.
Right. So just for a little bit more context, right? Yeah. If I was in a Nigerian school, and maybe I needed to talk to, so I know someone who couldn't meet up on her payments, her school fees payments, and she was scared, like she thought it would be the whole thing where they would just immediately like
out of school and all that.
And instead, what happened was there was the
bursary department,
student administrative office or something, and they were so nice, and they were like, oh, don't worry, we can restructure your payments, we can, like, they actually, and I remember that day me and her were just looking at each other like,
where are we?
You were in Nigeria.
Well, yeah.
Or when I was trying to get out of my accommodation contract and I had gone to them to say, oh, I just realized this is not going to work for me. I was scared to even talk to them. And the lady was like, oh, that she totally understands. I was like, hey, if it was Nigeria, they'd have said, idiot, did you not read? Did you not read? But she was so, she's like, oh, like, I'll be honest with you, it's going to be difficult, but here's what you can do. Options A, B, C, D, E, F, G. I was like,
Nigerian landlord. You died here.
You know what's even funny is that everything Kelechi is saying, I'm just having like memory flashback, like those coming out. You know how many everybody gather into all holiday level students gather into the hall.
Yeah.
Why have you not paid your first semester fees?
Yeah.
The list is going to your faculty manager. Like
that used to happen.
So that none of that. So there were good and there were bad culture shocks, right? So the good ones was really me learning to leave my trauma in Nigeria and being open to all of the fantastic stuff that they had to offer. I would send emails asking, like, there's no stupid question. That's what I'll tell you free of charge. There's no stupid question. There's nothing that is off limits, Feel free to ask any question you have, ask for help. Like, you would be amazed at the amount of help that is made available to you just because you're during COVID, because I was there during COVID. And this might be me skipping a few bits, but during COVID, I remember this I didn't work for like almost 2 months, and they actually paid me. Like there was a name they called
like some palliative or something.
So I was put on furlough at work, which is like a temporary compulsory leave or something. And the government actually paid me like 75% of whatever money I would have made. So I was just chilling at home. I was like,
I can't relate.
We can't
relate.
So
this one, there is the government that is hiding the.
I saw one picture of palliative yesterday evening. Gary.
I saw it.
You saw it, Abi?
No, it's not longer called Gary. It's groceries. Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
But Nigerians have overdone that thing. They have not made groceries to be very expensive.
Yeah.
Nigerians, we do too much. We do.
But I would ask though, and it will seem like I'm overflogging this matter, but me, I like gossip.
Go ahead.
How about relationship trauma? Yeah, sorry, I just had to put that. Like, it was just relating for me there because the trauma that you face.
It has been.
I'm a very private person.
Was it easy dating there? Yes or no? Don't worry. I can be shooting yes or no questions. Was
it easy dating there? I'm the wrongest person to ask that question.
Cool. You're focused on your books.
I mean, like.
So what do you do for those stress relief? Do you just go coffee, movies?
Series.
Netflix.
Oh, Netflix.
And then I had a lot of families, so I would always go to try to spend time with them. Don't get me wrong, like I had people that I was, like talking
in the talking
to
stage.
No, I actually had somebody that I was dating while I was in the UK.
At least it
has come out. I can rest.
Rest. But and I say this
with all dignity, with all humility.
Like, when I'm telling the story of my journey in the UK, he had a very important role to play. And I will also say this to anybody who is considering going abroad for like don't be like me. I struggled with finding a balance with my schoolwork and actually giving time to other things. Fortunately, I think one of the best things about living in the UK is you are able to really plan your life.
Mm.
Like, I can plan my tomorrow today.
Oh, yeah.
Because I just need to check, okay, how long is it going to take me?
Yeah.
What time is the bus coming?
Yes,
So
everything is
that
fixed.
kind of like down
Yeah.
to the T, right? Unfortunately, I struggled with finding a balance
With
between
the life,
like,
the
you know,
personal life.
and us finding a balance. You know, so he was working, I was schooling, just trying to find that balance. It was a bit difficult, but yeah.
All right. So, what memorable experiences or challenges have you faced? I mean, I'm guessing the accommodation one is probably a challenge, but what experiences? How did it
and
shape your
even with that
perspective?
accommodation thing, Seth, how were you now able to? How long did it take for you
even
to
resolve
sort
that?
it out
to
and all
resolve
of that?
it. So when I say this, please don't be angry at me. Thank God for COVID.
No, I can't be angry. COVID was a blessing for
It was a
couple of
blessing
people.
and it was a curse. So when COVID started getting like more serious and people were running home, nobody knew what to do. So one day we just got an email from the school because I was on campus and they just said, "Oh, if you want to break out of your contract, just send us an email." And it was like the biggest miracle that could have ever happened because it allowed me just break out of that contract. And for more context, I was paying about 700 and something pounds per month.
A lot
on
of
that
money.
rate. And then the new place that I moved to, which was even like,
350.
I was paying like 375. So it saved me so COVID COVID helped me.
And again, I would also point out that this is really why you get an agent and you ask questions.
The difference was clear.
Even though, Now, the other thing is that there are people like Kelechi who do not mind to stay on campus.
True, sure.
There are
But
people who don't mind.
the
but-
average customer that comes to me would love the cheapest available option just to save costs. And that's also why you speak to an agent sometimes that can help you with accommodation and settling in. That experience also goes a long way. So what memorable experiences do you, apart from graduating, doing very well and all that, like what any memorable?
There's so many. It was, I think the first time I like it snowed. I remember walking back home with my friend, a housemate sister, and it was just exciting. My first Christmas there was super exciting.
Yeah.
They celebrate, like you would feel
It's Christmas.
it's Christmas. It was fantastic.
Yeah.
There's so many. I can't pick one, but yeah, Christmas was good. The snow was great. At some point, it became annoying because
Too cold.
Not just too cold. The roads were slippery. But yeah, every day was a fantastic.
How you they laugh, because I won't ask how many times she fall.
I did not fall.
No, it's not
God
even
is
her.
on my side.
No, it's not even one. It's that when she said the roads are slippery, I just remember all those Instagram videos.
He used to crack me
very
up.
funny.
How does our education system differ from
that's what I was about to ask.
the learning? One of the biggest things that my customers and my friends and family tell me is that learning in the UK, first of all, the writing is different. That's like
Very
the biggest
different.
one. But let me hear your side, because it's MBA.
So I like I said, I did an MBA, and it was different from like a regular master's program. Because the thing about an MBA is you need to be able to apply it in real life, real world situations, right? And so every class that I sat in on, every course that I took, beyond them just standing in front of you and teaching you something that they expect you to learn, they wanted to know how are you going to be able to take this outside of here. And so every assessment I did, every research paper that I had to write, it was always applied to a
Very
real
practical
world scenario. So I was seeing like many things that I learned. These are the things I'm applying to my current role.
Nice.
So it wasn't
clear
just you were
professional
not
growth.
doing it to pass.
Yes, clear professional growth.
Yeah, you were not
clear
doing
path.
it to pass.
Yes.
You were actually like learning these things and taking that. We didn't write tests or exams.
Yeah.
Maybe I just wrote 2 tests in the middle of my 18-month program. The rest of it was applied knowledge. How are you applying this knowledge? So they'll tell you, pick a company in Nigeria, or pick a company that you
case
know.
studies and stuff.
And so there are a lot of case studies. So pick a company, apply it. So some of the ideas that I came up with while I was on my program are things that I'm still applying to real world scenarios. So it was totally different. It was totally different from going to school in Nigeria. I studied computer science. I went to a fantastic university. I went to Covenant University. It was fantastic, brilliant.
They have come again.
However,
all the Covenant people.
No, we're the best university in Nigeria.
Hey, you said
why are you not running for VP careers? They don't know you, right? I think I should plug it and send to them so that they can nominate you.
I was nominated for to be on a board or something, and I was going to do it. I was going to do it, but I chickened out last minute.
Why?
You didn't Kelechi doesn't have time. Let's just say what the truth is.
That's the truth.
That's the truth.
I looked at
so that she doesn't want to do it.
I want to do it, but I'm at the point where at Cafeone there's a lot going on. Where
maybe in 2 years or a year, something like that.
Yeah. So next year, please nominate me again. I will be ready. But it was good, but I did not. I could read and pass. Of course, I passed through CU. I could read and pass cram and pour. There was nothing like that at Essex. You really had to apply the knowledge, and it was while I was there that I learned about the concept of entrepreneurship, which is someone like me who has I've started 3-4 businesses and none of them worked out. That's one of the reasons why I decided to do an MBA.
Yeah.
But then I realized that maybe I'm not built to be an entrepreneur. Maybe I'm built to be an entrepreneur, which is funny because that's exactly what I'm doing now. Entrepreneurship within an organized organization. So Cafeone, I'm an EIR, entrepreneur in residence at Sterling. And what I'm doing is I'm running Cafeone as my own business, but within
the organization.
So it was something I learned in business school, and I didn't know the path to this point, but somehow everything just worked out. And
now it's a lot of big English, but the reality is that
literally I was about to say she just spoke over my head.
My apologies.
It's a lot of big English, but the reality is, and my excitement is, I tell people, some people are born business people, they're either made or born that way, but some people have the drive to function within, and which is what they've now called entrepreneur, because the internal thing to be able to drive businesses. And I'm in my office, I'm trying to get everybody to think like a CEO, where it's you've got to all take responsibility.
Absolutely.
Not all of us can wear the hat of being the MD. Sometimes you have to fire people. Excuse me, and I see my people in the office. They come to you after.
So there's a book that I read this year. So within my team, we're doing a reading challenge, one book a month.
Yeah, that won't work in my office. We've tried it.
Did you say it will work or it won't?
It won't work in my office.
So one of the books that I read, The Hard Thing About Hard Things, I think every business owner, leader should read it.
I think we have it on our shelf here.
It is fantastic because it just speaks to something you just said about making hard decisions, knowing when to
sack people. Kelechi is too nice. Let me tell you where I learned something recently. Instagram is such a book.
I'm telling you.
If you know how to discipline yourself, because life is really about discipline.
Absolutely.
Someone like Gary V on Instagram. Gary V will say, I'm a billionaire today. And one of the things that I had to learn early was, as fast as I can I can hire, I should be able to fire. And that's a reality.
Yeah.
Now, trust me, I always still prefer to give people months. I love to get people, know people and all those things. But you must be able to determine that, this person, I like the person, but the person's work or the fit is not good enough. And the reality is that when you have to let people go, they will go flourish somewhere else.
Yeah, so you can either reassign them if there's space within the team.
Yes, or you just allow them to go somewhere else. And that's something that we must all learn. So let's dive into Cafeone, because that's where we're going. What led you back? What decision? Because you and I had that conversation months ago when I met you. What decision got you back to Nigeria? What happened right after?
That's it.
That's it.
Gone. Okay.
Yeah.
So I've always known where I want to be. If that makes any sense.
Yeah.
So as far back as 2015, when I was graduating from my first degree, I was 10 years from now, this is where I want to be. These are the things I want to have done, yada, yada, yada. So I knew where I wanted to be. And there was a path that I was sort of towing. I'm one of those people that said I want to retire early. And in order for me to retire early, in order for me to retire early, it means that I have to... I'm a firm believer, put in the work when you can put in the work, right? So permit me to delve a little bit to the Bible. The Bible talks about, serving God when you're young, when you still have. So I think that's just how I've been. I wanted to do the things I could do when I could do them. And I said it earlier that every job I've done, I have loved. I have loved it. If I don't love it, you see it clearly, and I'm just wasting my time. So how does that tie into why I came back to Nigeria? So I knew that if I wanted to grow as fast as I needed to grow in terms of my career, I couldn't take any chances in terms of like the gaps, right? So I had finished my MBA in December, well, technically September of 2020. I was done, and by December I had like my results and all of that, and everything was good. And so the plan was that, let's just get back into work. You know, let's go and start applying the knowledge that we have gained. So I waited. From September, I had already started applying for jobs. In fact, long before. The minute I entered the UK, I started applying for jobs. But I wasn't getting anything that I liked, right? So it's either like I was too qualified for some, and even the jobs that I was too qualified for, because I didn't really have that much work experience in the UK, and then there's so many political things going on. It was hard to get back into work, and the jobs I was getting or seeing, I just knew I was going to be unhappy, and so I just kept counting the time. And then I read somewhere that if there's a longer than a 6-month gap in on your resume, then I mean, so if you look at my resume, I can account for every every month from from secondary school. So December, January, February, and I kept applying. I must have, and there were so many people, so many opinions on finding a job in the UK. I'm probably one of them. I have a lot to say about it. But then they'll tell you, keep track of it. I had a folder where I was keeping track of all the applications I had made. I have like probably 100 versions of my CV. And nothing was forthcoming. I mean, I had a part-time job. Like I mentioned earlier, I was working for the university at some point. I was also volunteering. So I was doing a lot. So it's not like I was not busy. I was doing a lot.
But the one that would bring
the one
the
that
ego,
was going
the
to
kudi.
set me on the path.
It
wasn't about money. It was more about the experience for me. And so someone reached out to me in March. No, was it March or February or something? No, January of 2020. And he sent me the link that was Sterling Banking. I'm like, I beg you.
Wow.
I was like, I literally just opened it, looked at it, and then I was like, okay, no problem. I'll send it to my guys in Nigeria. They can apply. And I sent it to my friends in Nigeria. And then the day that the applications closed, he reached out again. He's like, did you apply? Or the day the applications were closing? He's like, did you apply? I was like, no. He's like, why? He's like, please apply now. So I remember speaking to my parents, and my dad was like, or my mom, like, there's no harm in applying. I know you don't want to come back to Nigeria, but just apply. So I was like, okay, so I did.
It's funny because that sounds like mommy and daddy trying to get you to come back. But
not really. They not really. Those guys they're solidly behind me.
That's nice.
Any decision that I think is best for me, they support me. So I was doing interviews. I was interviewing in the UK, and I started going through the whole like process with Sterling, which was fantastic. Like, Sterling is the best place to work. I'm not saying it because I work for them. I'm saying it because of the entire recruitment process and the experience I've had from day one joining the Sterling team. And so the offer came from Sterling. So let me tell you how interesting that experience was. I don't know how many people applied. I don't know how many people applied, but at the final stage, right, they were supposed to come into the head office building. I was in the UK. I was not going to come to the head office building. My friend, my housemate and I, there was 2 of us. And the both of us, they Sterling like went out of their way to set up a video conferencing thing. So in fact, if you see like my journey to Sterling, you see like everything was virtual. So everybody else was sitting in a room, in the boardroom, and you see me on the screen, me and my friend. And so we went through the entire process end to end virtually, and it was fantastic. And I just kept thinking like, oh, it not be a bad idea, you know. And that's when
they were very convincing.
Not only were they convincing, I saw myself
with them
there. I didn't know what I was going to do for them yet.
I was about to ask that. Did you already know that that's what you're going to do?
Oh, no. I didn't even know what I was going to do. I just knew that on this new path that I was going to tour, I wanted to tour like the business growth, business development. Like I wanted to try something different from digital marketing, which was what I was doing before I left Nigeria. I just knew that And so when the offer came, I tried to stall. I tried everything because I thought about uprooting my life again and moving back to Nigeria. And I will not sit here and tell you that it was an easy decision to make. It was not. But at the end of the day, at that point in my life, it was the best decision. I cannot forget the day that, and again, I would permit me to go a little bit spiritual. Like, this was where I now started to consult, like, oh God, what would you have me do?
You gotta talk to God about it.
And I did an interview, and it was fantastic with a company in the UK. And it was so good, and I was excited about it. And I told God, I'm like, God, if this interview comes back and I don't get it, then I'm going to go back to Nigeria. And the day that I got the mail, in fact, the way it happened, it was like film trick. As soon as I just got the email, I said, you were fantastic, but there was somebody else. I broke down, I cried. But as I was crying, I was booking my flights back to Nigeria.
Packing your things.
I was packing my things.
Was that breakfast?
I had stalled for so long.
Sorry.
But yes, it was the best decision for my career and for me. If I stayed in the UK, I would have been fine. I would have been, but I would not have been fulfilled. And I would say this unapologetically, that the growth that I've experienced in the 2 years that I've been back, I don't think that I would have achieved that same level of growth, staying back there. Yeah. So yes, short answer, best decision for my career at the time. And
so let me plug in. For those that do not know, my Japa Limited sponsors, Japa Chronicles. And we recently went into a partnership with Cafeone by Sterling. So it's not a planned partnership podcast, but then when I had a meeting with her, and I realized that she's schooled abroad, and the conversation was also lively and all that. I have to admit, but because I hope the MD will send me some dollars. I have to admit that Sterling Bank is one of the more unique banks.
Fantastic.
The team have done a great job over the years. Not the Sterling that I knew maybe 15, 20 years ago. The Sterling of the last 5 to 8, 9 years. And so I admit that Sterling is one of those banks. You would say that. My close friends, they are married, they both work in Sterling. I didn't even know banks and companies do that now. Sterling does that. Like, they don't have a problem with you guys having relationship.
Sterling Acquire.
Like, the guy has moved from one bank to another.
Really
They just poached him. They poached him from his wife. His wife has been working in Sterling. He had done, I think, Union, maybe FCMB or something like that. And then Sterling poached him, and they're both in the same bank. So and they talk about their experience. They're fully remote. So I give that. And so to go back to the education side of it, because we're talking of Japa.
Yeah.
Can I say something quickly?
Yes. Okay,
this is an appreciation post. Yeah. So it has my daddy's friend that works in Sterling Bank, but is retired now. His birthday is next week. So when I was in GSS, I used selling book from GSS to GSS 3, selling back book, pencil, water bottle. Even my first phone, one small phone then, is a Sterling Bank.
Yeah. And she's Gen Z, so she's not talking she's not talking years ago. She's talking
Gen
very
Z
recent.
Thanks.
Hello.
Thank you.
This is somebody that is fresh out of university. So she's not talking of more than 10 years ago like that, right? Yeah. So and so for me, one of the things I wanted to talk about today was that you want to do Japa and all that. You also want to find a bank that you can save and plan with, right? I don't know what their plans are, but what I will say is that, and you can answer this better, is with Cafeone, one of the things that you guys have done that I've seen is with remote working, you basically are telling young Nigerians that, look, you can even work for companies here and abroad in your centers.
Right.
And now Cafeone is in Lagos. They've got Yaba, Chevron, Lekki Phase 1.
Yep.
I believe they will soon have other centers in Lagos. They will tell you that they have Owerri Imo that just opened. They have Ibadan Ring Road. So not only does Japa Limited have, we meet people and we work with them, and students can reach out to us in any of the Cafeone outlets. But for the general populace that is not just thinking of immigration, or is thinking of work immigration and don't even want to leave Nigeria, Cafeone has now created a solution where you can work from their systems and make your money in Naira and dollars.
Yeah. So,
and that's the one customer bank is what you say, guys.
That's what we used to be.
And what are you now? What's your slogan now?
Cafeone?
Yeah.
Oh, Cafeone is where innovation meets community.
But Sterling is...
Sterling will always be the one customer bank.
And so I have to give you guys your props. So you can go and talk more about...
Thank you.
So tell us more about Cafeone and what you do.
Yeah. So really, the Cafeone story is exciting. So Sterling, when Cafeone started, Sterling was thinking about a better way to serve customers outside of the branch, right? Because we don't want to. I mean, no shade to any bank or anybody, right? But we see those long queues and rowdy bank branches. Those things, like, we didn't want to see those things. So we're like, see, there has to be a better way to serve our customers, right? And so Cafeone started. Fun fact, a lot of people don't know that anything you can do in a typical Sterling Bank branch, you can do it in Cafeone.
Yeah.
You can open your account in Cafeone. You can get your cards. You can get a loan. Anything really. The only thing is that we won't accept your cash from you.
Yeah.
You know, but you can do your transfers. Most Cafeone locations have ATMs. You can get during the cash crunch earlier on in the year. I know how many times people attested to the fact that ATMs at Cafeone locations and Sterling Bank branches were dispensing, and so
they're really trying to convince me to open one.
Please, I can open one for you now, self. Like no. In 5 minutes, you get your account.
That's nice.
But
we can discuss it later.
We will. Trust me, we will. So at Cafeone, we're saying that if you don't have an office. So I'll speak to that first. If you don't have an office, you're a tech bro or you're a business owner. You don't have an office. We're saying, don't worry. We understand how difficult it is to have an office space. Come to
expenses,
Cafeone. We will offer you our virtual office packages and everything. Give you like a proper business address. We'll help you with customer service. And in our newer locations that are coming up towards the end of the year, you would now be able to actually have your own, we'll take the stress of setting up an office away from you. But really, just talk to me or anybody about the virtual office plans at Cafeone. And beyond that, if you're just a regular remote worker or you're just looking for somewhere to go and do your work that won't stress you, there's free Wi-Fi, super fast, secure.
It's coffee.
Amazing.
Snacks.
We have the best coffee in Nigeria.
Yeah, they have that going for them as well.
The best coffee, the best confectionery. We have the best drinks.
So do you have anything for creators, content creators?
Absolutely.
That's exactly that's
content creators and Cafeone were like this.
Yeah. And they've got certain locations, like someone like you will love the Chevron and maybe even the Japa one. They've got a lot of locations. There are some locations that are
Instagram worthy.
Yes,
locations.
Exactly.
If you had not said it,
this podcast is not complete. It's not complete.
Yeah, and they have that going for them. It's really interesting though, because let me help you sell because I sell for a living more. One of the things that I would say as a business owner is COVID did a lot for us. And we say blessing and a curse. The curse was the people that we had to lose, and that's never nice. But the blessing is that as a business owner, you don't always have to go set up. We grew up with big buildings, rent, and all that.
Right.
And all you need to do is for a certain group of people to work and function. And not everybody has to come to the office all the time. Right? And what you find is that with Cafeone and the innovation of co-working spaces and virtual offices is that you can send people in locations. So what we're doing now is we have people who live on the island or close to the island who go work from Cafeone offices in that area. And so what also happens is that our customers don't have to come all the way to the mainland, right?
Yeah.
And so they just go to Cafeone.
Yeah.
And so before you know it, Japa partners would have staff in every location of Cafeone, not just appointments, and that's what that partnership. So when you have a company that is innovating,
right,
and your company is also looking to be innovative, I know I'm preaching, right? But the mesh is just there.
Yeah, true.
Now, because everything also is, if I offer you a service, people get to pay. I'm also going to be looking at, if Sterling services on payments and stuff is just as good as maybe the people we're already using or we're looking at, I would also want all transactions to go through Sterling. I would advise all customers to bank with and save with Sterling. So that's that mix for somebody like me. So think about every tech bro who is IT related. Think of content creators who don't always have to leave their houses or are looking for good places to create content. They now have boardrooms, training rooms. So when a bank or a business is thinking the way they're thinking, it doesn't take long to dominate. And you wonder why superstars relate, right? So that's, I'm just going to leave that there.
I know what.
Yeah, I know it's mic drop.
Again, I think this is still with everything, I honestly didn't know that Sterling Bank was doing this much.
Yeah.
So, but then it's very, very surprising because with the regular banks that you see in Nigeria, you don't see this much innovation, like this much thought to go. Do you understand? Their major focus is
Money
meeting their targets, saving, and all of that. There's no much
So,
innovation with. It's really surprising.
But what I think,
deal.
but what I think that banks are not doing that Cafeone is doing for Sterling is that banks are not making enough noise, and the reality is that there are not too many banks. But yeah, what I think it's reality is that Cafeone has to do more of those. The way I have just carried mic and preach for you guys. You guys have
Free
to do
marketing.
more
We're getting there.
of telling
we're getting
people.
there.
I
mean, we're learning to tell our stories a little bit more.
Yeah.
And we're the gospel of Cafeone is spreading.
And it's interesting. You just said something because you said something about the entrepreneurship and how Cafeone has done that internally. So Sterling has done that internally.
Yes.
I wonder if you've done that with your storytelling, the digital marketing department on that.
Yes, we're working on that because it's not just Cafeone. There are like 4 other businesses that are within the entrepreneur.
I'm going to guess alternate banking is probably one. I don't know. I know Cafeone.
So
you've got one bank. You guys are really doing a lot.
Oh no, there's a lot. I mean, I can spend 2 hours trying to tell you about all the fantastic things that are happening within Sterling.
Yeah.
But just be on the lookout. We're telling our stories and
trust me, I'll help you. I'll continue to help you tell your stories. Again, if you guys like how I talk and pay me money, I'll keep talking. Like me, my life is not.
He's a businessman.
You won't find too many people that can talk the way I talk. It's just I may not have too much time. So if you guys are interested, but let's talk about do you have any plans to Japa again?
Yes,
like
to go back.
to leave? Like, or are you just soft life queen? Okay. I'm sorry.
I know, but you want.
Sorry.
Don't make it seem like you're
I
pushing.
believe in working in purpose, right? And anyone who knows me knows that I'm very intentional about my life, about everything that I do. And I'm also, I'm not leading myself. I'm not leading myself.
That's important.
So everyone who asks me, why did you come out? I'm here now. And that's what's most important. And so as long as I'm here, I'm doing everything that I know that I'm supposed to be doing
part time.
So yes, I'm here now, and that's what's important.
I love that. Again, we always say that we're not a Christian podcast, but as believers, you must understand that life is in phases. And we always say men are in sizes. Leave your phase part time. You should know that. That was your chaplain that said that to me. It was one of my own breakfasts, Victor Wadamlari.
Did you go to Covenant?
No.
So how do you know Pastor Victor?
I had babes and friends. And I had a babe that, let's leave it that way. But we don't talk about my own relationship.
So I wanted to ask, as with regards Japa, so how does Japa affect savings? Like with Sterling, like how does that work?
Or maybe we create a product right here and here. Because we are in this partnership, and one of the biggest things, like you would know,
Switch by Sterling.
Interesting.
And what Switch primarily does is it targets Nigerians in the diaspora. So we're catering to everybody. What I always tell people when they talk about, so as far back as 2006, 2007, 2008, when I was a part of the Nigerian Model UN, we would sit around at the, the Model UN conferences then, and we would talk about the brain drain syndrome. And the brain drain syndrome was not as high as it is currently. Like, not that many people were leaving. I'm sure if you check statistically, more people have left Nigeria in the last 4 or 5 years than ever. But guess what? There's more people that are still here, right? There are people
I said that on the last record, on our last recording, that if we have 200 million people, and let's assume 60% of who we are youth, we probably have 50 million youths that are still able to work.
Yeah,
and that's a lot.
And as sad as this might sound, as not everybody can Japa.
That's the
Because
reality.
everybody will Japa, right?
Yes.
And so let me speak to two sides of it. One is in terms of sterling. So whether you choose to Japa or you choose to stay back, there's something for you. Sterling is trying to cater to everybody, cater to every Nigerian, and not just cater to because we're looking for business or we're looking to make money. No, we're actually looking to enhance your life. We're actually looking to create value for you. And so if you're staying back, there's services and there's products that will serve you.
Yeah.
But if you're leaving, there's also, we're still looking to serve you and make your life.
You want to send money home to your parents, you want to do any of those
anything
things.
really.
Yeah.
So just check out Switch by Sterling. Fantastic product as well. So yeah, I don't think everybody will Japa, and I don't think that Japa will necessarily affect savings per se, because I don't know too much about FX and stuff.
Yeah.
But you shall need money, you need naira, you need.
I will help you out by saying that I also tell people that the definition of Japa has become some sort of wave that we do not understand, because the reality is that Japa equals to immigration. So when we were in school, we used to have this smart thing that we could say 1 is equal to 1, and it's basically saying that no matter what you do, it's the same thing. And Japa is immigration. Immigration has been since before our time. It will continue to be. It's not a Nigerian thing.
Yes.
Some people would move for holidays. Some will move temporary like you did and you came back. Some will move permanently. They will give birth there. Their children may decide to come back. So people need to understand that what Japa is much more than the pain that we're feeling as Nigeria, or our system not working, or our past governments not working, and people just wanting to run away, right? And that's something that is there. What I would just say to you now is, because you have been in that column of, oh, I have Japa, but now you're back in Nigeria and you're contributing here. What advantages did you get that you are applying here? What would you tell the Nigerian youth in a minute that, look, if you can afford to go either to the US, UK, or any country where the education system is good, and you can learn something, you need to learn this, or you can learn this from here.
So beyond the education system, please, if you can, just travel. Like travel,
just for
the
that exposure.
Like the experiences, it just gives you a different perspective to life. It opens up your mind. It helps you see things in, the experiences are valuable.
Yeah.
So beyond getting an MBA from a UK university, the general experiences, the people I met, the conversations I had, the things I saw, I think that they've all shaped me and they're still shaping me, to who I am today. So to the Nigerian youth, and trust me, if you can, whether it's Benin Republic, just travel.
Yeah.
Try to see like all these other places.
Yeah.
And
reach out to my Japa Limited. We can help you. Yes, tourism, go with a group. Anyone you want to go via road to any place. Yeah, and that's really what we must do. That exposure is one thing. But what of discipline? What did you learn in discipline abroad that works for you today? What is a superpower that we may also not know?
Again, sorry, I will shamelessly plug my university.
Okay.
Covenant.
Some people will be happy to hear.
Hold on. There's a reason why. So at Covenant,
this will have started paying me for PR.
Discipline.
Yeah.
But some people then it wasn't even forced. It was just a way of life. Like if Covenant tells you that something, a meeting or a service or something is starting at 8 a.m. We had these really big wall clocks there. And best believe that at 7:59, the person who is doing the opening speech or opening whatever is already on stage. So as hard as it was then, that thing it started to teach me discipline. In the UK, for my school, right? If you miss a certain number of classes, then it's as good as you feel the course, right?
Really?
Yes, it's as good as you feel the course, because in their minds they're like, are we playing here? So we had to tap into class. If you come in 10 minutes after the class has started, it's as good as you missed the class. So those kinds of things. Like the buses are on schedule. Like the buses are on time. If the bus says it's going to be there at 7:59, if there's going to be any delay, they will inform you. But you're able to. So the truth is, you have to live a disciplined life in terms of your time. In terms of when I first moved to the UK, I was calculating naira to pounds. But then I got to the point where it was now, how many hours of work do I have to do? How many hours of work do I have to do to be able to afford this? So generally,
minimum wage, how much
I
you
had
need
a
to
good
make.
foundation in Covenant, but the UK was
Really-
like next
really-
level.
yes.
Next level. So you plan your life, you plan your time, you plan your finances, you're able to plan everything. And if you're not a disciplined person, then you be and I think the final thing I'll say, and I say this to because a lot of people reach out, I want to travel, and I mean I've also helped quite a number of people Japa,
sort of,
right? And I would say to them, like, please don't just be like, I just want to Japa,
Have a plan.
Have a plan.
I-
Have a plan. Because what will happen is if you end up Japaing without a plan, a lot of the negative stories we read about people who have traveled
It's
online.
because they
I'm
didn't
sorry,
have a plan.
it's because they did not plan. And please, when you are planning, please ask all the right questions. Speak to the professionals. Let them help you out. There's so much. It's a lot. And it's when you don't have the right information that you now find yourself inside
Busy.
And
Then you'll be trending on Insta blog Nigeria.
Nigeria is not all these other countries you're going to, whether it's Canada, UK, Australia, anywhere. We're very indisciplined people here. There, they have structures.
Yes.
They have a proper system in place. So just have a plan. And
I just wanted to say that in this podcast, you have just been helping us to flip the table of Nigeria, the education system, or everything.
I mean, everybody needs. We say we need a spank up our butt. But I've said before numerously that Japa is like marriage. Like you've got to plan. You just can't. You just don't go into it.
Absolutely.
And I think I want to reemphasize the fact that when you work with an agent, like if you come to our office, you leave education and you say, I want to go to school, I would always say that to my people. The reason why it's now necessary for you to pay a consultation fee is so that you don't just come waste my time and I talk for 2 hours and you don't come back. But I love customers that actually ask questions. So sometimes even the most respectful ones, particularly the ones that are exposed, to say, I hope I'm not disturbing you. I'm like, I love you. You're not even disturbing me, because it means that you actually you have you value it and you really know what you want and you're looking to make a plan. You're not looking to fail.
Yeah.
It's the ones that don't say, Mr. Dipo, Alpha, how much do you want? 1M. Okay, just take the 1M. What documents? Okay, just get everything down. Those are the people who usually have issues. Or the ones that also want to cut corners and say, can't you help me do this one? Won't you? Other agents, they do this one now. It's family of this, so how much money are we going to spend? And that's really what it's about. So if you didn't get anything today, please, if you're a young Nigerian, go and research on what it is to be disciplined. Read and learn.
And something I wanted to add.
You are talking to 99% of Nigerian population, but no problem.
Something I wanted to add is, please don't be anywhere belle-faced. What does that mean?
Follow.
A lot of people reach out. I want to. I have somebody who just graduated. They don't have a job. I'm like, okay, what kind of a job are they looking for? Anyone. That's the fastest way to put me off. I want to travel. Okay, so where are you looking to go to? Anywhere. Please don't be that person.
Yeah.
Before you even approach the consultant or anybody, and this will apply to not just Japline, but even like to your job and a career. Please, at least just for a minute, ask yourself some very important. Streamline it, like, okay, what countries do you want to go to? At least know the course you want to study. At least have like some kind of a direction. Don't be anywhere, because anywhere belle-faced is why you end up in the middle of some random country and you start regretting it, right?
And
so have a plan.
You be sleeping under the bus station and
don't
you
be
enter
anywhere
Insta blog,
please. And please, if you are, I'm always my friends call me the plug of all plugs. I'm happy to plug people into anything, any day. But the one thing I will not tolerate is you coming to me say, you need a job. Okay, what do you need? Anywhere, anything, anyhow.
I just want work.
Please don't do that.
I just want work.
Don't do that. Don't. I just want to job. I just want to try. Please have a plan, because that's how you can now attain like sustainable or valuable results with your job buying.
Do you follow football?
Yes, I do.
What club do you support?
I cannot say it on air. Sorry.
Say it, please.
No, I don't have any.
There's a running joke here that Man U is like UK.
Oh no. I'm more an Arsenal fan than.
Ooh, wow.
I'm an Arsenal fan.
I think this is the time that I go.
No. I will drag them, because let me tell you have all of you, my Arsenal friends. You have been very rude.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Arsenal, you guys are like.
Watch out for us.
You guys,
Sorry, I have a question, Isaac.
Man U. So he knows he is not doing well at all.
That's
Arsenal is like Australia. They are a very good club, but they are very far away from everything that is winning. I didn't plan it. It just came. These things come naturally.
I don't engage.
Yes.
I don't engage.
Who offended
But
you?
don't worry.
See, let me tell you something. I'm on a banter group.
worry,
They have
don't
about
worry.
7. You are like Australia. Great. You play good football,
Watch
but you are
watch
far
out
away
for
from
us,
winning.
watch out for us, watch
Second
out
place
for
for
us.
250 days.
Watch out for us.
Only to lose the league after
Watch
3
out.
games to the end.
Watch out.
I hope
Wow.
you have a great day.
I hope I do.
Thank you guys for coming today. Per
He
usual.
chose violence.
I did. I
Wow.
did.
Thank you for having me.
It
It's
was
been
Thank you.
fantastic. Thank you.
It was a lovely
Nice to
episode.
meet you.
And we hope to have Kelechi back for our relationship segment.
I beg you. No problem. Call me and
Thank you.
I'll make out time.